Hey guys, and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Down South. Do you like the cadence? It's a new thing, I'm trying it out. Let's be serious, I'm probably keeping it. So anyway, today we have Yudheer Rajkumar's second place deck profile from the Durban Regional that happened last month. He played ABC, and yes, this was the ABC deck that just destroyed me round 5 and is the reason I didn't win another regional. So, thanks dear. Nice one. So anyway, let's get into the list. We got 2 Assault Core, 3 Buster Drake, and 2 Crush Wyvern. This is a little bit interesting because it's different from your standard 3-3-3 ABC list that we tend to see in most lists. But we used to see a lot of people cut down on Crush Wyvern to 2 because it is objectively the worst one. And let's be serious, Buster Drake is probably the best of the 3 because it searches stuff from the deck as opposed to A and C, who kind of just recur themselves to and from the graveyard. So I can kind of understand why he would cut those down to 2. Moving on from that, we got 3 Gold Gadget and 3 Silver Gadget. This is interesting because there's no Photon Thrasher here. Normally, a lot of lists would go 2-2-2 with double Photon Thrasher because Photon Thrasher doesn't lose as much to Ghost Ogre or Effect Veiler. So it's interesting to see the choice here to run 6 gadgets instead. I guess the reasoning behind this is just simply the fact that gadgets do more when you're ahead. They do more when you have monsters on board as opposed to Photon Thrasher that needs nothing. So I can kind of understand the reasoning there. And then rounding off the monster lineup, we got 6 Hand Traps, we got 3 Ash Blossom, and 3 Ghost Ogre, which is pretty standard as far as hand traps go this format. So not much to say there. Then moving on to the spell lineup, we got 3 Desires because you want to see all the time. I guess the only problem with this is drawing multiples or the fact that ABC really doesn't like banishing its pieces. True story, went to a big event once, top 4 of the event, one of the ABC players banished all 3 Bs. All 3 of them. So that was good. But I guess as long as you have the hand that allows you to search before you draw, you're probably good as far as that goes. And then we got the Field Spell Engine of triple Terraforming and triple Union Hanger, which is standard for an ABC deck, as well as the 1 Monster Reborn and the 1 spicy-ish Scapegoat. Now, it's interesting here that Yudheer didn't choose to play 3 Scapegoat. I would have done that, because, like, you know me, right? I just run 42 and run 3 Scapegoat. But the 1 Scapegoat here is interesting, and I'm sure it works in the instance it needs to, especially with things like the Torrential Tribute, which we'll get into a second, because this deck runs 9-10 traps. So, you know, good stuff. Of course, it runs triple Torrential Tribute because it can, because who cares? Essentially, the fact that most of your monsters kind of proc from being in graveyard by summoning Buster anyways means they're somewhat expendable, as well as triple Torrential Tribute, especially in ABC, which is such a control deck this format, just regulates the board. An interesting thing here is no Destrudo, because again, it doesn't really mesh with the rest of this very consistent build. But Torrential Tribute works just fine, works with Scapegoat too if need be. Then we've got the Barbarian Order. This is what destroyed me in my round 5 match, because it was game 3, and Deer went first, and he flipped Order on me, playing Trickstar. Yeah, that was fun. So, Order there again, also because Durban, lots and lots of Pendulum Magician. What kills Pendulum Magician? Anything that stops spells, so Order is really good there. We got the Skill Drain as well, because Skill Drain just kills virtually everything. Like, as long as you have a Buster, which is 3k, it's a 3k beater, like, that's huge with Skill Drain up, so not really much of a chance of getting out from under that. And then rounding off the traps, we have the 3 Strike, the Judgment, and the Warning. Essentially, the Solemn Brigade, because again, this deck loves traps. It's a control deck. The more traps controlling the game, the better. So why not? Moving on to the extra deck, nothing really to see here. We've got triple Dragon Buster, that's pretty standard. And the 3 card rank 4 toolbox. We've got 1 Tornado Dragon, 1 Boguska, and 1 Tsukiyomi. This looks pretty similar to your rank 4 toolbox of old, except you've kind of compressed it to all the good ones. Tornado Dragons basically replace Direwolf. Baguska is really good to sit on if you got a bad hand, and just to sort of negate general effects on the whole. And Tsukiyomi is just part of that standard combo play that we have, where we make a light rank 4, we ditch a bunch of pieces, and we draw a bunch of traps, and we set the traps, and we win from there. Onto the link 4s, we got a bunch of generic link 4 fodder. We got 1 Barload, 1 Saryuja, and 1 Firewall, because they're link 4s, we can link up into them, it's easy peasy. For the link 3s, we've got Decode Talker, again, sort of the go-to link 3 monster for ABCs, because Decode Dragon Buster is a pretty good ending board. And Decode's also really good as a general combo piece to get up into your link 4s in this deck, which is really useful. As well as that spicy but not so spicy Clever Genius. Everything is machine in this deck. So all you do is, if you need the spots, you just go into Clever Genius instead of wasting the extra material on a Decode Talker, and easy peasy, right? Then we got sort of your general link 2s. We got Proxy Dragon, Underclock Taker there. Largely kind of just as link up fodder from things like Scapegoat, because this is when you'll be wanting to make sort of link-ish boards. And then for our link 1s, we got 1 Link Spider, again for the Scapegoat tokens, and 1 Clara and Rushka. And I'm not exactly sure why Clara and Rushka is here. Probably because no Link Karibo, because, you know, Europe. Anyway, I probably would have used a second Link Spider here, because it's mainly used for things like tokens, as well as just general link-up fodder on the whole. But that's the extra deck. It's fairly standard as far as things go. For our side, we got the Kaiju package, 1 Jikazero, 1 Gamma Seal, 1 Humongous, and 1 Kaiju Slumber, which is fairly standard. And then we got 3 Artifact Lantia. Now, this is pretty much a medical for Durban, I guess. The idea that we have a really, really good Inferno Art player running around. So a lot of Invoked, a lot of random stuff that just wants to banish, as well as like randomly, occasionally, things like the Mare Match, I guess. And just generally, Lancia is a really, really good card to have if you're in South Africa. It's one of those cheap, sort of 3-of side deck type staples that you really want to get your hands on if you haven't already. But fairly useful just all around there. For the spells on the side, we have the Raigeki and the Dark Hole, because board wipes are good, especially going second. And also, we don't care about the state of our board, because they can just die, so it's fine. So the board wipes make sense, they're going second. And then we got Triple Twin Twister for a lot of rogue matchups, as well as just getting rid of general back row on the whole. Twin Twister is really good. Again, it's one of those kind of cards that, like Twin Twisters or Cosmic Cyclone, you need to get 3 of these if you want to play in South Africa, because there's just so much rogue and so many back row heavy decks that, like, you need that in your side just to compete a lot of the time. And then lastly, we got the Triple Anti-Spell Fragrance, because we hate Pendulum Magicians. And it didn't really do Deer that much good, because he ended up, you know, losing to Pendulum Magicians in round 5. So, But that's the deck profile for you. It's a pretty standard ABC list, but I hope you guys found it interesting. I'm sorry there wasn't an upload yesterday. There was going to be a really cool live action video on the new structure deck that's coming out, but then my camera messed up, so I'll have to re-record that today. But I thought I'd put this out for you guys in the meantime. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.